When researchers ask me how to design their ideal day for academic writing, they often expect a recipe. Find your peak performance time. Block 2 or 3 hours of uninterrupted writing. Turn off email. Close the door. Done. This can help, but only up to a point. The real problem usually sits one step earlier: when your calendar says writing. You probably don't actually know what that means for the specific project in front of you. And if you are unclear, your brain will respond with the familiar mix of resistance, procrastination, and low-grade guilt. So, before you optimize your routine, let's do something much more fundamental: clarify what academic writing actually includes in your work and who you need to be for each part of it. Most productivity advice treats writing as one uniform activity. Sit down, focus, type words. But academic work doesn't work like that. On any given day, you might be cleaning data, coding interviews, or thinking through a theoretical argument. Are all of these writing? In the broad sense, yes. And that's exactly the problem. When you use one word, writing, for activities that are cognitively and emotionally completely different, your planning becomes fuzzy. You block writing time in the morning but spend it fixing a minor formatting issue. You intend to write, but what you actually need is unhurried thinking about your argument. You feel unproductive after a day of data analysis because it didn't feel like real writing. The result: your schedule looks full, but your progress feels thin. To change that, we need a more precise vocabulary for what you actually do. All of this is academic writing in a broad sense, but each of these sub-activities asks for something different from you. If you try to do all of these with one generic writing mindset, you will feel constant friction. A more helpful way of thinking is: which version of myself is needed for this specific activity? Here's one way to slice it: the explorer. Best for exploratory thinking, reading loosely, early stage idea generation. What you need: curiosity, openness, tolerance for not knowing. Context that helps: a notebook, low pressure, maybe a cafe or a walk, minimal expectations of output. The drafter, best for messy first drafts of sections. What you need: willingness to produce imperfect text, medium focus, some momentum. Context that helps: a time-limited block, document open, clear small target, one ugly paragraph about X. The analyst, best for data analysis, coding, model building, careful interpretation. What you need: sustained focus, analytical clarity, low distraction. Context that helps: quiet environment, access to all needed materials, a rested brain often better earlier in the day. Find more examples in my blog post. When you name these selves or modes, something important happens. Your calendar can become specific. Instead of just putting writing in your calendar, it can say, architect work on paper X, decide structure of results section. And that is a much more realistic appointment. The quality of your writing routine depends less on the perfect time of day and more on how precisely you define what writing is for this project right now. So before you optimize for peak performance, take one step back. Define your sub-activities. Name the versions of you they require. Match them to realistic times and contexts. Only then does the question, how do I design my ideal academic writing day, become answerable in a meaningful way.